Good evening, everybody. This is the Roundtable Talk Show. I'm your host, Christopher Unk Jones, and it's another Tuesday. It is definitely another Tuesday. Of course, I have, my co-host. We always eating backstage. So, of course, I have my co-host, Dustin, on on with me. I'm quite sure Miss Catherine may fall in, but if not, I understand why. And that's not for y'all to know unless she tells you. And if she does come in, you may not be able to see her on a live cam. So, and of course, Perry Busby is definitely going to tip in. Um, so yeah, we have a very good show for this Tuesday, June the 3rd. Tomorrow is my mother's birthday, so shout out to my mom. Happy birthday,
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah, birthday.
Happy early birthday. Beautiful. Absolutely. We are in episode 12, Dustin.
Something like that.
And yeah. So I had to go back and count myself. So yeah, it's episode 12. Our theme for this episode is they tried to steal the sound, how Black and Indigenous music shaped a nation and still saves us. Of course, this isn't about a jam session or anything of that nature. It's a cultural correction. Tonight, we tell the truth about who made American music and who's still trying to steal it or bury it or on the rights to it, right? So, peace and power, and definitely purpose to all the people, all peace and power to the people. And again, welcome to episode 12 of the Roundtable Talk Show. And tonight we're calling out theft, trauma, talent, and truth. Because we aren't just talking about music during, um, you know, ironically, Black American Music Month all month long, all month long. What is it? 30 days of June. So um, we're talking about what they tried to kill and couldn't. I want each and every one of us to know that we are the children of sound, of field hollowers and powwow drums, of porch gospels and protest chants, of Gilla rhythms, Tejano chords, Choctaw flutes, and black church tambourines. But if you look at your algorithm today, you think we only know death, drill music, and diss tracks.
And
You
sex.
think and sex, and definitely sex. Throw that in a circle. You think black music started with struggle and ended in profit. Let me be clear, and I'm quite sure that my co host on this evening will be the same, that will say the same, that sound of survival built this country. And it wasn't sponsored by a record label or approved by the state. They stole our sounds, silenced our elders, and marketed our pain. Now, they lock up the young ones who still dare to rap the truth or they die. I'm sorry, let me put on my do not disturb.
Yeah, I turned mine on.
I do apologize for that. I received a phone call, so let me let me correct that right now. So they stole our sounds, silenced our elders, and marketed our pain. Now, they locked up the youth or the young ones who still dare to rap the truth, especially the truth, or character assassinate them in any kind of way that they possibly can. So, um, or like I said, they die conveniently out of nowhere. There was a gunshot, just a random somebody drive by, right? Or somebody shot somebody. And again, there's conspiracies behind that. So mysteriously, suddenly, they just randomly die, like Michael Jackson or Prince, or individuals that, we knew in our community, or that have even now, like I said, some conspiracies around their death. This show isn't just about to honor the past, it's to save the present and secure the future. Our national topic for the night is coded chords and stolen sounds. How the music of survival built America, or American culture, from the field hollers to the spirituals, from the banjos to the beatbox. This is the story of the music they could not kill. Before America had an anthem, we had the drum. Before it had industry, we had inventions. Before it had a billboard charts, we had coded messages and rhythm. Let's get straight to it. As we know, enslaved Africans weren't just singing to survive. They were singing and signaling revolts, something that they don't teach in history or music appreciation. Um, 101, whether you were in elementary or middle school taking it, they don't teach that. The banjo, stolen from West African lutes, spirituals, they were escape maps, not just worship songs. Indigenous music carried prayers, seasons, resistance, and the government outlawed it all. Now that's exploitation. I heard the current administration say something about we're exploiting our counterpart or white people, and y'all won't even let us do country music, which is something that we founded, right? Folk music is something that we established. Elvis took what Chuck Berry built. Pat Boone whitewashed Little Richard. Miley Cyrus twerked on what Big Frida defined. And hip hop commercialized, policed, and used as evidence in courtrooms um, while record excerpts sip wine off the profits. I was gonna say something else, but yes. Meanwhile, you still can't get a hip hop history class in your kid's school, but they'll study Mozart for a half a semester or a whole semester, depending on what school district they may be in, if at all. They're taking any art into consideration as they teach your child. My roundtable question is, if they had to steal the sound to sell the story, what does that say about who really shaped America? Our Seeds of Solutions is demand public funding for Black and Indigenous music preservation programs, integrate Black and Native music lineages into K through 12 curricula, and build an open national oral archive of music elders, instrument makers, and unsung legends. So, our state topic, I'm sorry, round back to our roundtable question, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
If they had to steal the sound to sell the story, what does that say about who really shaped America?
We all know who shaped America. But heck, if they didn't steal it, sure, there wouldn't be a story at all. But that's just how it work. Whether it's sports, music, movies, all that.
Open heart surgery,
Sure. Hockey. Yeah, I was looking at a story earlier today
track and field.
that on Instagram we're talking about, do you know who really made Hennessy?
Yes,
I don't drink myself, but I know other people do. And
yes.
there's some reason black people seem to be attracted to it. Well,
And don't even know why.
well, apparently the cat's out the bag now. That's why. But
Yeah, man.
that's the game.
Hmm.
It ain't about who can create something. It's who can get other people to acknowledge they created it. Because it'd be a TikTok dance, a hairstyle, anything. Because I'm sorry, how they keep recreating box braids is beyond me.
Well, I mean, like if we back to culottes and cut off jeans. I mean, like anything could come back, Dustin. I mean, like the
Yeah, yeah,
MC
nah,
Hammer
right.
pants is back.
But it got to come back with its original name. You can't bring it back and then try to name it something else like you just discovered it. Calm down, Christopher Columbus. You, you don't just get to walk in somebody's living room like, man, this sure is a nice house I discovered. So stop doing it with people culture.
Man,
Talking about, oh,
man.
these people came up with this song. Do that even sound like something y'all would sing?
Or even play. Because again, like many people in um, original indigenous aborigine American culture play drums, again like tom-toms,
Mm-hmm.
bongos. They created woodwind instruments. I mean, like if we found out we could blow on the top of a bottle and make music, I'm just imagine what they did back then, right? With more instruments, bamboo, anything to make an instrument, right? And so, I mean, like, it's crazy that here in the South, there's barely any museums, excuse me, any museums that exemplify the roots of music, right? I mean, I know that there is what is it? Uh, there's a museum in Houston. I want to say the Blues Museum in Houston. Yes, Houston Blues Museum. That's what it is. Um, and I'm not sure if many of us have traveled to Houston to patronize that history of ours. But like I said, um, Chuck Berry's in it. Little Richard's in it. Pow Wow is in it. I mean, it's a museum of music. So yeah. Our sources for this particular topic, Dustin, comes from African American music history from the Smithsonian Folkways. But get this, being that we have a tyrant and a felon as a president. That website is down.
No, didn't get them government funding, huh?
Smithsonian, is I don't know, on the verge of collapse because of this administration. And the
Well,
Smithsonian is not just our history as Black people or indigenous people or Aborigine or whatever you would consider yourself. It's the history of this country, North America, period. I didn't say the United States of America, I said North America, period. The Smithsonian holds it all.
at least it used to.
Anyway, right, right, right. At least it used to. At least it used to. Um, I definitely want people to understand, you know what I'm saying? There is a lot of stories and things that are not said to us or told to us. I'm 45 and I know that people younger than me may not have a clue from someone's lips, right? About the rich history of music that Beaumont has, or that the South has, or that America has, right? Let's set the record straight, America. America didn't birth Black music. Black music birthed what we call, and they now call, American sound. Way before the cotton fields, we were griots. Before the blues, we were building instruments out of the grounds, wood and memory. Long before gospel echoed through churches, we were calling on spirit through drums and breath. All of it sacred. Then came colonization, and with it, bans on drums, criminalization on gathering, and the theft of our spiritual expressions. And
Mhm.
yet the rhythm never died. We disguised it in work songs, in fields, hollers, in spirituals that spoke coded maps and led individuals to freedom. We infused it in every American genre known to men, known to man today, whether it's jazz, blues, rock, country, hip hop, even indie, and rarely got the credit. Let me be clear: the banjo is not a white folk instrument.
Mm.
It descended from West African lutes, like I said. The earliest folk songs sung by enslaved Americans and indigenous tribes in resistance. Your favorite pop sounds, right? Sampled from some struggle, joy, and genius that was never paid, ever paid. So, those things that we hear currently in today's society, whether it's covered by a Black man or a white man, it was established by the indigenous people who are undoubtedly brown, Black, Negro, indigenous, and even called indigo to some people because they were that blue black. So I want you all to know that even before you tried to colonize our land and colonize our sound, destroy and deteriorate artists that we grew up to know, like Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for individuals that we saw growing up turn to music and was introduced to something more sinister in their life that either damn near ruined them because of the plan to steal not only their sound, not only their voice, but more so their royalties. How is it that individuals of today have realized that many, many, many record labels and recording studios hoodwinked individuals out of their true and authentic payments across this nation, regardless to if you were from Hawaii or American Samoa, whether you were from the mid or from the boot, it happened to each and every one of us. So,
Hey, but they gave him a Cadillac.
with a diamond in the bag, sunroof top, I'm just
Well,
saying,
the thing is, if they couldn't control it, they was getting rid of you.
yes, very
Music
much so,
wise is nasty work.
very much so.
Cause I just want to know how Jay Prince, Dame Dash, Irv Gotti, Suge Knight have a meeting about working together. People that supposedly don't like each other had a meeting to work together to cut the industry out and distribute their own music. And then the next week, each one of them got raided by the feds. Look, I don't
Ironically,
believe in
huh?
coincidences.
Ironically, huh? Oh man. Our state topic. Texas, of course, and probably beyond. But I am what 45 minutes to an hour up the street from the land of screw. So I definitely, definitely had to hit it right here. And I'm probably, let's say, 30 minutes, no, 3 hours, maybe four, depending on traffic, from Baton Rouge and New Orleans, the land of bounce.
You driving slow.
I mean, like that's why I said it's traffic. I did say traffic or construction. Um, but I do want us to know that Texas ain't silent. The indigenous Mexican and black soundscape that they tried to bury from the Tejano trails to the Gullah rhythm to Zydeco soul, Texas carries a sound that doesn't get taught. I promise. I promise. It's like it all meshes together here. And you could go, like I said, from New Orleans to Houston, and I guarantee and mesh all those songs, regardless to the genre. I promise you'll be like, man, they jamming.
Mhm.
Texas has a rich tapestry of music, musical rebellion, black field choirs, indigenous vocal traditions, and Mexican corridors, all shaped a state that pretends country music is all it knows. This segment brings it all back. Texas want to act like it gave the world all that it could give the world, rather, was boots, barbecue, and a country twang. Now, Texas, let y'all know. Texas is built on a sound that don't get state funding, don't get text mentioned in textbooks, and don't get Hall of Fame tributes. Let me remind you, the Karankaw and Caddo tribes were using shell shakers, turtle drums, and flute chants long before Deep in the Heart of Texas was ever even sang or sung or written.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
East Texas's black churches laid down harmony and defiance at the same time. Our Gulf Coast, like I said, gave birth to Zydeco, the blues, and bounce. And let's not forget DJ Screw of Houston, Texas, which is in a genre of its own. Things that we were listening to in the streets of Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange, Houston, Louisiana, all parts, especially Jennings, Mermentau, Brobridge, New Iberia, Rain, Crowley, Baton Rouge, Swallow, especially a trail ride in Swallow, you know you was gonna hear some Zydeco. It was inevitable. And then when I came here and I heard chopped and screwed Zydeco, I was like, it can't get no better than that, man. It can't get no better than that, man. And this is the thing, we were listening to it on our streets long before it hit the radio, long before it made mainstream. Because we had cassette tapes
Mm-hmm.
that we used to buy. It was mixtapes. Literally a cassette tape. It was people that was buying Walkmans to put in their car because they didn't have cassette tapes in their car. Yeah, yeah. And now rappers in Texas can't get can can't get exonerated, but get indicted really quick over lyrics. And like you said, get investigated over gathering, especially a meeting of the minds. Meanwhile, white country singers profit off of Southern pride with zero critique. I have a friend of mine that's in the Dallas Fort Worth area singing country music, and he gets more pushback than a little bit. Mind you, the brother is high yellow. He could probably almost, no, he can't pass. I'm sorry, he can't pass. His lips is big. His lips is big. So he wouldn't be able to pass. Our Texas music history is erased on purpose. I want y'all to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to erase it and pack it around, oh, it's violent and different things like that, because if you teach the roots you expose the thief and those that's stealing it. How can we, this is the roundtable question, how can we claim Texas's pride? How can we claim Texas pride if we won't honor the original voices that built its sound? Give it to me, Dustin. And I know Miss Cat sent me some notes, but I can't flick back because I'm using my phone.
Let me
I'm
look at my
sorry, Miss Cat.
notes. The thing is, as Texas people, we do. The problem is other people don't. But this is the thing about Texas. We don't care if you give us our props or not. We gonna enjoy us. So you feel how you want to feel about it. But that's the thing. We not only gonna enjoy us, we gonna enjoy you. You
And
can
make
put
you
us,
enjoy us.
yeah, you can put us in any crowd, any type of music from any culture going. You give us a few minutes to find that beat on it, or we end up having a good time.
Facts.
We don't even have to know what the words are.
Absolutely correct.
You just dig in on that beat you salsa dancing, you doggone two stepping, you out there doing your thing because that's what we about. We about look whatever you got going on, cool. You want to put it out there? Let me check it out. Okay, I can vibe to that. We
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But it seems like when it's the other way around, it's a problem.
Mm.
But it's okay because I'm what 49. I done listened to a lot of music. I grew up on the MTV era where they actually played music videos, VH1 before they
Yeah,
even had a country music station. When they had to play country music on the other ones.
right, right.
So I'm way back when Garth Brooks had a full head of hair. When Reba was probably in her 30s or 40s. See, that's the thing. Y'all think we just started liking country music because Beyonce and a couple of young cats that came around.
Hmm.
No, we've been on Brooks and Dunn. We've been on all these people because we knew you don't have to look like
Absolutely.
us for us to understand what you're talking about.
Right, right. Absolutely.
Even though
Absolutely.
some country music I don't fool with, cause look, your girl left you, your dog died, your tractor broke down. I don't care about none of that. But when you're putting out the good songs and music and I'm vibing, I'm back with you. It's just like
I
certain
totally
rock I
agree.
don't listen to.
Right, right, right,
If you
right.
screaming, I can't fool with
Yeah,
you.
I can't do it.
But if you got a good ballad going, I'm there all day. I'm with your Aerosmiths, Aerosmith.
Right.
I'm with your Blink One
9 Inch
Two.
Nails.
I'm with
Yeah.
all that rock. I got a whole playlist on YouTube. It ain't nothing but rock music.
The Peppers. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, Good
Kiss.
Charlotte, all that.
Back in the day, Kiss though. Back in the day, Kiss.
Yeah, yeah. Cause you don't really hear rock music like that no more.
Cindy Lauper. No, no.
It's
And let
like
me tell you,
rock music
I
got
kind
put to
of,
the side.
I kind of fell off into bluegrass
Hmm.
when I was stationed in Kentucky, and I was like, this is pretty dope. This is pretty dope.
That's how it work. You go somewhere else and you're like, hey, what y'all got going? What's this? Let me give it an ear.
Bro, I've sat in some Mediterranean spaces, restaurants, and cultural events, and enjoyed the heck out of their music.
Oh
Don't like you said. I don't know what you saying, but I could do like this.
yeah. Yeah. I was in Saudi Arabia for 2 years.
Yeah,
Come to find out, they actually have rappers.
indie rappers, and
Yes, I'm just sitting over there like,
they got rock groups too. Indie rock.
I'm just sitting
Yeah,
there like,
yeah.
they got a little,
Which is
got a little
also
something
it's
to
not
it.
indie because it's Indian. It's indie because it's independent.
Yes.
Okay, that's what indie means, y'all. Not not what y'all was thinking. If you didn't know what indie rock or
Even
indie,
though there is some indie music as an Indian, that's pretty good too.
there is some Indian music that's awesome.
It get
I
you going on that
promise.
dance floor.
I promise. Or on look, or on in your workout, bro.
Tuh.
Bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's the thing. We give everybody that space to come in, create, do your thing. We ain't gonna poo-poo it. If we don't like it, that's cool. Somebody else do. But it seems like when we put something out, is oh what you can even look up interviews of rappers, they'll tell you if they can't put out something less sex, violence, drug dealing, that the record label won't even put it out.
Man,
That's why
man,
most Texas artists are independent.
man, Miss Cat, if you watching, I need you to hop on so you could do this poem. I need you to hop on so you can do that poem. And you
But
don't,
they
like I said, you don't have to. I don't have to see your face. You don't have to. I just need you to do that poem.
but that's what you gotta realize. People are like, oh well, why was Swisher House and Rex Shop, why they stay independent? because they didn't have to answer to nobody.
Absolutely.
Why Master P was independent? Why E40 was independent?
Absolutely.
Cause they put out what
Absolutely.
they want.
Right.
It ain't nobody telling them, that's a little too positive. We're gonna push that to the side. They're
Right.
gonna hit us with
Right.
that sex, drugs, and guns.
Right. And you notice that when they started to change their message, um, that's when they got scrutinized, right? Like, yeah, everything started. It was like females coming out the woodworks. They're artists, being tracked and arrested for alleged murders. Because if we still going on in trial, that's considered to be alleged. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, like I said, you get drug bust or character assassinations that happen because I mean you again you speaking out against the oppressions
Yeah.
and you're empowering your listener, not just your people but your listeners, right? And to keep a people docile and tone deaf
Hmm.
is one of the things that they bank on, especially knowing that music moves people.
Mm-hmm.
Music influences people. It's one of the worst drugs in the world.
And you don't even have to really be listening the whole way.
I
Yeah.
promise.
And it just start putting stuff in your head. You're like, wait a minute.
Better yet, it's one of the best drugs in the world
Yeah.
because certain tones in music creates greater vibes,
Mm-hmm.
even a vibe in your body that then functions as a healer in sound.
If you ain't got no energy, throw DMX on real quick.
That's why you see my hat. What it say? 808, huh? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 808 was a instrumental piece for music as we know it today, especially from the 80s. I mean, like it was this when it came. This when 808 came. 808s came out was in the 80s. Transcended music to what we currently know today,
Yeah.
giving people the sense of AI, like as if they weren't doing some of these same, making some of these same sounds on an 808 or a synthesizer. Zap, come
We
on,
know.
man.
You
Had
know,
us
like I told you,
believing,
everything is new with a new name.
man. Our season solution for this particular topic, y'all, comes from, well, recommends to fund cross cultural music preservation projects with indigenous, Black, and Tejano communities. Install musical landmark signs across Texas recognizing unsung music legacies. Like, I bet you Beaumont, many of you did not know, especially our age, did not know that we have something so significant as a piece of the Chitlin Circuit right here in the city of Beaumont. The Chitlin Circuit. Look that up if you don't know what that is. Google that, ask Alexa, you know, ask Siri, ask anybody, ask any one of them that you want to. What is the Chitlin Circuit? And I guarantee you that I'm sure you don't, but I'm quite sure that you'll be able to find out what your answer, find out what the answer is as the Chitlin Circuit, especially being uh something profound for Black people. And to this day, we don't even know what that would be or what that looked like, right? Man, create a statewide artist legal defense fund for lyric-based targeting. It's just some of the things that we could do in our community to embolden our um, musical libraries and legacies.
The Raven Club.
So you looked it up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The Raven Club was on most of that, Dustin, believe it or not. Most of that was in the South End
Mm-hmm.
and on I want to say Gladys and Wall Street. The Chitlin Circuit kind of ran through the black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
The North End Negro neighborhood and the South End Negro neighborhood is where the Chitlin Circuit was. Mind you, some of the artists that performed on the Chitlin Circuit, let me move to our local topic. From the front porch to the post, why our music still heals, but we're letting it die. In Beaumont, Port Arthur, and the Golden Triangle, sound wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. And if you've heard it before, yes, on the state level and on the national level, it was survival for our people. This one's personal. In Southeast Texas, music was how we got free and how we stayed sane. Grandma sang over bathtubs and funeral caskets. Uncles plucked guitars on porches that held three generations. Youth choirs were our therapy long before we ever heard the word mental health. But now, our elders are dying undocumented. Our kids sample beats with no knowledge of the pain behind them. Our schools cut music while TikTok tells our kids they gotta be viral to be valuable. You want to talk about healing? Sound was the slave. Now we watch young artists get jailed, shot, or silenced while nobody asks how we got here. Don't tell me you love music if you let the sound of your own people die out in silence. Some of the things that I want us to focus on in this.
Well, hello there. He'll be back shortly. Just real brief disconnect. See if I can find where he was reading from.
All right,
And
all
he's
right.
back.
So reach out, in our own community. Some of the things that you could talk about at your own table, um, so that our youth can know who Barbara Lynn is. Um, your raw talking points at your table is Black musicians in Jefferson County paved the way for national sound, but aren't archived, and why? Young people are creating without knowing their musical lineage, and why? Local churches, barbershops, and front porches were once musical epicenters. And what happened to them? We are losing our music because we're losing the elders and not documenting them. Music is still therapy, and we're ignoring its power in mental health and in grief. Our roundtable question for this particular topic is: how do we expect our young folks to know their worth if we won't even preserve the soundtrack of their inheritance? Our Seeds of Solutions is launch a Golden Triangle Music Oral History Project with community elders, just like I mentioned about the Chitlin Circuit being here in the city of Beaumont. Artists that were performing for white venues but could not live in white hotels or could not be served in white restaurants had no choice but to go to the South End or to the North End to live in residential areas. And we're talking about some national icons like Ike and Tina Turner. like Bobby Blue Bland, like I said, Barbara Lynn, a Beaumont's own. These are people that we need to know about and places that we need to preserve. And if we can't preserve the place, then we need to identify where these spaces are. Our sources for this particular topic come from Southeast Texas Arts Council. That's Southeast Texas Art Council at setxac.org. Again, another source comes from the Smithsonian Institute. Saving sounds was the topic of that article. You cannot find that anymore. That's again, that's on the Smithsonian's website. That's no longer there.
No
But
funding.
but but the Smithsonian's website is still up. They are in I will say in celebration for Music Month. I see there is a gold plated record, The Sounds of Earth, the United States of America, Planet Earth. The Space Jams. Again, my assumption is that they are also celebrating Music Month, just not calling it Black Music Month because
Oh
that's
no,
what
you
it's
can't do
called.
that. That'd be DEI.
So, back to our roundtable question. How do we expect our young folks to know their worth if we don't even preserve the soundtrack of their inheritance? Give it to me, Dust.
See, I don't know about other people because that's what I got in my notes. I don't know about other people in their house, but in my house, you gonna learn some old stuff. We listen to old music. We watch old TV shows, old movies, old cartoons, old sitcoms.
Yeah.
They basically watch what I watched growing up. And we talk, and when they hit subjects on the material, be it music or be it the movie or be it cartoon, we sit down and talk about it. Ain't no hiding, ain't no running, ain't no with this, this might be Let's discuss it. Let me tell you what's going on in this song right here. Let me tell you what's going on in this right here, in this show. See how they treating that kid right there? That ain't how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
We're gonna talk about all that. I don't care what y'all say about Bill. My kids gonna watch all the Cosby's because it was good stuff in there.
Yeah,
Because I know how to separate Bill from Heathcliff Huxtable.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're gonna watch them lessons. Enough people ain't clearly ain't learning from them lessons. So,
Hmm.
but we gonna go over all that. We gonna go to the museums all around. And now that I see, you know what? I was sitting there looking, not to jump on that old subject, but I was looking. I think that the Ravens Club is that club that used to be by my house, because my house is on Mary. There was a club where the about where the center is at Chalk Park.
Hmm.
There used to be a club right there, and I never knew what the name of it was. It was pretty much closed my whole time once we moved there. But looking at where they said this was on Irving, I think it was that club sitting right there. That was just wore down, and they tore it down after a while. And now I think the baseball area or basketball court is about right where that club used to sit. I used to walk by it every day to go get on the
I,
city bus to go
it,
to school.
it probably was Effie Go Go's
Maybe because I know it was like 3 or 4 clubs on Irving alone.
in our time.
Yeah,
But in the before time,
yeah, probably 50.
that mug was lit from one end to the next, bro. From one end to the next. They stories like verbal testimony from
Mhm.
elders that we still have with us will say, "Oh, you couldn't drive down Irving.
Yeah, that's a walk. You gotta get out and walk
You
it.
Right. You parked on one of the side streets and you walked Irving. You went to Effie Go Go's. You went to, the Oyster Bar, the Raven. You went to the Viaduct. You went to, you know, the Blue Flame, or I mean, like the Elks. I mean, it was a Negro Elks Lodge
We gotta get that back.
on Irving Street.
We gotta get that back because
I totally agree,
my
bro.
time being on Irvin is should I don't even think the corner store there no more.
Which one?
The one used to be over by the port.
Mike's?
Yeah.
Well, somebody purchased it. Mike's Drive-In, somebody purchased it from the Asian family that had it. And they allegedly were supposed to be fixing it up to, put it back into operation as a gas station and whatnot. But um, I'm not, I want to say some Indian people have it now. I'm not sure.
So they sitting on it till somebody come with a bid to
Of
make them rich.
course. Of course. You know what that is. Pretty much some of the same things that we've seen happen in our lifetime.
Everything is going on downtown.
I'm for the life of me, I don't understand it. Especially Mike's. But hey, I will do is call them out every time because I don't want to see no trash over there. I don't want to see I don't want to see no grass growing too bad over there because if you were gonna buy it to um reopen it, make it accessible to the community, I was for it. But what I'm not for is you sitting on it and like you said, waiting on waiting on somebody to offer you the highest bid. 9 times out of 10, you probably waiting on the Port of Beaumont.
But my thing is, why has nothing on Irvin became historical? Like all the
Be-
stuff that was on Irvin, none of
all
it
the
got saved.
all the stuff that was in the South End, period. Let's not just think about Irving, but everything in the South End is extremely historic. More historic than the McFadden Ward House.
The McFadden Slave House.
Yeah,
Let's call it what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. From and as I continue to dig about the historical significance, I mean, like, we didn't know Carroll Street Park was Santa Ana, Texas. We didn't know that the South End was called Santa Ana, Texas, founded by a man named David A. Brown. We didn't know that growing up.
Nah.
Once the park closed and it became a power plant, they put a historical marker there to say, oh, by the way, this was Santa Ana, Texas, founded
Yeah.
by a Negro man
Yeah.
named
Nah, but
David
you
A.
can't put
Brown.
nothing there.
Right, right. So that's why our history is not shown while we can enjoy its spaces. Like all the first blacks, everything were on Irving Street or on Buford Street. All the first white anything in Beaumont was on Railroad Avenue or Railroad Street or Railroad Boulevard. Call it what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of all Italian first all Italian anything happened in the South End. Italians couldn't live nowhere either. Italians could not just live anywhere either.
Nah.
So their culture, their dance, their song was all played right here in the South End, right along with the accordion and whatever else scratch board that they had out here. But what they won't do is let us know that Irving Street was the Chitlin Circuit of before time.
Because I'm
They
looking.
won't tell us that Tina Turner performed in the South End. They'll tell you, oh, things like, and this came to me directly, and I'm not gonna say what time I was on the campaign trail, but I was on the campaign trail, and it said, well, only thing in the South End is crackheads and crime.
Dude, BB King was there.
Correct.
Thought I saw something about what his name? Dude with the guitar.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimmy came through
Yes, he
Beaumont.
was here. Yes, he was here. Yes, he performed here several times.
I'm just sitting there looking at these names
Several
like
times. Blind Boy. I mean, like, it was so
James
many
Brown.
people. It was so many people that were in Beaumont, born, reared in Beaumont, that attracted artists and artisans to this area.
Hmm. But they don't want to teach that part of history.
No, they do not. They, especially here in the city of Beaumont, especially here in the city of Beaumont. I saw Perry jump on. I'm not sure if he's having a little issue. I didn't want to wrap up without giving everybody. Of course, I like to ask us, give us something that'll carry us throughout the week, the rest of the week. Um, but my before that, I definitely want us to know. Reach out to as many elders as you possibly can, regardless to how young and or old you are. Get some of these verbal history lessons from them. Write it down or record it if you possibly can. These experiences we'll never have again. And to share the legacies and the stories and memories of our past is definitely like roadmaps to our future.
Hmm.
So, um, Dustin, give us something that'll take us through the rest of the week, man.
Let me see. Well, it's summertime, so it's gonna get hot. So gonna take care of yourself. But hey, to do this, if you around Beaumont, all these buildings, these pickleball courts, these event centers, these libraries, these museums, these all these other things, don't have them kids sitting at home. It's a bunch of things that you can have them put them into. Cause I was just
Vacation
over there.
Bible School.
I was just over there at the pickle court. Getz got put up off college. Nice picture of him and the missus. They teaching kids how to play tennis, which is a big thing. No matter, I
Yeah,
think the earliest they doing, I think it's 4 years old, all the way up to 14. Get out there, play some tennis. Tennis can get you going. Your sport ain't got to be basketball, football. Nah, they got some tennis. Uh, for the
I want a
females,
racquetball court. That's what I want.
softball just became a professional sport.
Yes,
So get on out there with that. You
right,
ain't got to be the
right,
pitcher. Learn to catch and throw. You'll have a place. Ooh, but yeah, we need to put some demand on these parks, not just the few parks we see. Let's talk about all.
right,
The
right.
says 10 in Beaumont.
Mm,
It's supposed to be 10, I think.
10.
So let's talk about these 10, not just the one on Phelan or Dowling.
Yeah.
All the work. I would like a covered basketball court.
Right. And
Kids
and on
can't be out
top of
there
that,
sleeping in the sun.
Dustin, we do live by a river. I wouldn't, count that out. Teach them how to fish.
Dude, the river just opened up. Well, grand opening, I think, in next week or something like that. You get a fishing
Yeah.
pole out there. I don't eat fish, but god dog, I'll throw a line in the water. Hey, you can get the fish I catch.
Yep.
Teach them
Yep.
how to work crafts. Because I've been looking up where's the trades in Beaumont. Because you see, Job Corps just got taken away.
Yes, man.
So you're going to have to learn to use your hands again. You're going to have to learn to fight through some calluses. Let's look up. And for
Man.
y'all people that don't need job, look, you can join. I think the Army give you a 2-year contract. The Air Force will give you 4. I think the Navy will give you 4 too. Go in there, learn a trade, then come on back. You ain't got to do the full 20.
Hey, the seafarers working national ports, the 18 months training.
Tough. They got all kinds of things you can sign up for. Heck, Harvard got some free classes. See what they offer. A bunch of college offer free classes during the summer just to fill
Yeah.
seats.
Yes.
Look them up. See what they got going on. See if any of it can help you. Get some training, because they ain't going to make it easy for you now.
Absolutely.
They want that pipeline from school to prison to get wider. Them
And
public
they
prisons are
turning the
getting empty.
valve, bro. I promise. Especially with people that are simply using THC or marijuana.
Hmm.
Now that now that they have lost revenue from those individuals from counties that remove THC or the amount of for imprisonment, yeah, they coming back for you, which is the reason why they, especially here in the state of Texas. Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about that next week.
Huh.
Yeah. Um, Tonight was deeper than just music. I want each and every one of y'all to know that I definitely wanted to go deeper than music. This was ancestral maintenance. Like you have to know these maintenance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they don't just kill the body, they kill the sound, they kill the story. Then they sell it back to you with a beat you can't afford to own. We've let too many of our cultural prophets die alone. We've let too many elders sing their last note unheard. We've let the world convince us our music is a trend,
Hmm.
not a testament. Let me say it out loud so that people around the world can hear it. You would not know nothing about a Run DMC, hip hop, or anything else unless it was birthed and born right here in these on these American lands. If you are an artist, protect your legacy. If you are a parent, teach your kids the root, not just the remix. I heard Dustin say about cover. Show them where that cover come from.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a listener to music that appreciates great sound and great lyrics, pay attention to who profits from our pain, profit from our story, profit from our legacies that are going to be told through music every time, regardless to what genre it may be. It was birthed here by our people in America. The sounds that tried to steal, it still lives in us. Let's not bury it ourselves. Scream it from the tops of our lungs. We're not just listeners, we are instruments. We are the instrument. And if we stop playing, then we might get to rewrite some of these entire scores and put our name on the Beethoven remix. My name is Christopher Jones. Thank y'all for tuning in for this week's show. And as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. God bless. Y'all have a good night.